just how different is OneD&D from 5th edition? With the news about OneD&D being the next version of Dungeons & Dragons on the horizon, people have been wondering how much is actually changing. Many of us have been playing the current version 5th edition for around half a decade, and by the time OneD&D officially releases in 2024, there will be a decade's worth of content. The words backwards compatible have been thrown around a lot, referencing OneD&D's claim on their homepage. OneD&D will take what we love from 5th edition and create an experience that is not only backwards compatible with the adventures and supplements you enjoy today, but that will evolve the game for years to come. But what does that actually mean? Will a 5e player be able to drop their favorite character into the new edition with no issues, or is more changing than they're letting on? Welcome to the Wintry Wyvern, let's find out. But before we get into it, this video is sponsored by Southern New Hampshire University. If you're watching this, you probably care a good amount about game design, the intricacies of good balance, and inspired development of good games. I'm happy to say SNHU, Southern New Hampshire University for short, has one of the largest accredited non-profit online degree offerings in the country, offering over 200 flexible, affordable online college degree programs, one being game programming and development. Here you can learn different programming languages, the nuances of game physics and AI, and software for 3D modeling and texturing, all taught by experts in the industry. I'll be the first to tell you that choosing your major for college is a huge deal in deciding the direction of both your professional future and your passions. As a content creator whose channel ended up being totally different from what I majored in, I so wish I had known all the career options out there from the start. SNHU's website makes that easy. Even if game development isn't your cup of tea, they have a handy page that lets you see for yourself all the possibilities. There's no set class times, letting you work when and where you want. You can even transfer up to 90 credits you already have towards your bachelor's degree and up to 12 towards your master's. For more info, check out the link in the description below. Thanks for listening, and let's get back to the video. To answer the question how much is actually changing, the answer is, well, everything. To different degrees, of course, but it's no exaggeration that so far nothing has gone untouched. Let me explain. As of this video, there are 2 Unearthed Arcana playtest docs released, with over 40 pages of classes, races, feats, and even some spells. I want to hone in on the new Rules Glossary first, a section devoted to defining key terms that are repeated all throughout the player's handbook. Now, a lot of these words are familiar. Creature type, inspiration, long rest, and grapple, to name a few. These words that we've come to know imply some greater meaning when mentioned are now capitalized wherever they show up. This means that at the very base level of every feature, every rule, and every paragraph, things will look different. Everything is being retyped and rewritten for clarity, making it obvious which words have unique definitions core to the system. While it's not as aesthetically pleasing as 5e's lowercase prose, it's certainly much less vague. Furthermore, there are now titles. Features or traits that contain multiple benefits are divided into named sections. The Polearm Master feat, for example, has each of its 3 unique benefits labeled with a short title to briefly summarize the benefit. This is also done for clarity's sake. If anyone's ever read the errata for the player's handbook, you'd understand the headache of deciphering the second sentence of the first benefit without cross-checking the feat itself. Now they can just write the title of the benefit that's changing because it's given a convenient name. But the changes aren't just formatting. There are real, tangible balance changes to almost everything released so far. For example, of the 38 revealed player's handbook feats, 36 of them have been rebalanced, and all of them have new level requirements at which you can pick them up. Every race from the player's handbook has been rewritten and readjusted, as well as the 3 classes released so far. Some have very small changes, like the Dwarven trait Dwarven Resilience, but some are largely different, like the complete rewrite of their Stone Cunning trait, which now provides Tremor Sense. The great majority of the names of the player's handbook content remains the same, even if they've been changed mechanically. So while you could try to play your 5th edition character made with the starting content, everything on your sheet, the race, the class, the feats, and the background will need to be reread and likely relearned because of major or minor changes. So if that's the case, what does backwards compatible even mean? Well, it's tricky. In terms of supplemental books, the content of any lore they hold, like Mordenkainen's notes on the Blood War or Fizban's Dragon Logs, will stand untouched. But all the races and classes and features in them, it's immediately obvious that they'll only be sort of playable, maybe, but definitely adjusted. OneD&D brings with it a shifted balance paradigm and revised terminologies that may make or break certain character options that preceded its arrival. Races must ignore their ability scores. Feats will be lacking level requirements. Spells will be on the wrong class lists. To its credit, OneD&D still resembles 5th edition more than any of its predecessors. So with a little bit of rewriting and tweaking, many of these old options can work just fine. but everything will mandate that little bit of elbow grease to even begin to match the look and the format of future OneD&D content before we can even address if it's balanced or not. The adventure books are much less finicky. The story beats of D&D Adventures and its modules are timeless. The NPCs, the locations, and the plot twists will almost certainly survive into the new edition. But you could say the same about 3rd edition adventures or even 1st edition. Anything that doesn't involve stats or numbers will carry over just fine. That's storytelling in a nutshell. But it's undeniable that already the numerical and mechanical skeleton of D&D has undergone major and minute changes in just the first 2 documents. And there's plenty more. So is D&D changing? Yes. Will you have to relearn it? Definitely yes. Will it impede your ability to have grand adventures or tell the stories you've been telling all along? Only for a little bit, but I'm sure it'll be fine. As with every edition, learn at your own pace and find your comfort zone in any version you prefer. OneD&D is still a work in progress, so there's no rush to study right away. And players of 5th edition won't need long before they feel right at home, if only to get used to the rearranged furniture. Hope this clears things up. More on the way, be sure to like and subscribe, and above all, stay frosty.